So Travis puts out into the Twitter sphere. He goes, okay, is it hashtag data or is it hashtag data? And then he spells it out phonetically below it in parentheses. And so I reply with just data, obviously, not spelling it phonetically, so you don't know which one I'm saying, which is why it's funny. Yeah. And then he goes, obviously. And then this dude buddy, who is his
my new
Twitter
best
handle
friend,
is at as we go along as double G, and his display name is Brad. He goes, in Australia, it's actually Dada, D-A-D-A. And I replied, go on. Travis goes, if Rick was Australian, it would be Daddy. To which I replied, you know what? Even not being Australian might be Daddy from now on. And then Brad responds with, Daddy is indicating some strong growth in the second quarter. I lost it.
It's so good.
That's good.
Is guacamole a fruit salad?
What is the best milkshake for bringing boys to the yard?
Ostriches are dinosaurs.
Don't piss off old people. New game.
What do you mean it gives you Arby's mouth?
Artisanal muck duck balls.
I think they call that autofellatio.
I want to high five a shark.
Welcome to Bar Banter. Relax, have a drink with us as we debate the most controversial topics in the world today.
On today's podcast, we talk about who is the hottest cartoon character, male or female.
Ooh.
When should you say no in fantasy football? And lastly, let's say you're a producer for a very prestigious channel, ESPN the OCHO. What sports are you going to air on your television program to attract people to your station? But first, Andrew Mullis, what are you drinking?
I am going classic with my Mexican mule with a little bit of orange and chocolate bitters in it today, just to bring out the tequila a little bit.
Yum.
Mm-hmm. New trick I learned.
Orange and chocolate. I don't like orange that much, but orange and chocolate actually, for some reason, go well together. I don't know
if
why.
you're ever doing tequila shots, a little bit of cinnamon powder with an orange is much better than lime and salt.
Wasn't that like a really popular candy when we were growing up, like the orange chocolate ball thing? I don't even know what it was.
No, we're not just going to allow that comment to come across this podcast and not have some sort of rebuttal to that absurdity.
Orange and chocolate, or
What I just
Orange
said?
and cinnamon.
Yeah, it brings
I've
out
never
the
heard
flavors.
of that
Lime
one.
and salt.
It brings out the flavors better.
I'm slashing your tires.
I'm sorry that I work around alcohol a lot.
No, it's okay. You drink tequila.
Never
from a
apologize for
plastic
that.
bottle. It's fine.
It's glass. Richard Mattison, what are you drinking?
Well, as you alluded to earlier, with me coming out swinging, I am channeling my fighting spirit, and I am drinking Modelo this evening. Modelo Especial, because I'm a classy like
classy
that.
rod.
Ben Trimmer, what are you drinking?
Went a little different tonight. Usually I'm doing cocktails, but about once a year I'll go buy a 6-pack of Tropicalia. So I went with Creature Comforts tonight. Not a big IPA guy, but when you keep it sparingly, it works. Travis Jennings, what are you drinking?
Macallan 12 double cask. It is delicious. That's all I'm going to say about it. I got the fan going under me, guys. It's cold. It's getting cold outside, but I still got the fan going because I'm getting a little hot. And you know who else is hot? Some cartoon characters. They can be attractive, not in a weird way, but like they could be a little attractive. I think. I didn't break through on that one. That wasn't very good.
It wasn't.
I'm sorry.
It wasn't even like just terrible. It was.
It was subpar. I know. I know. I think I used all my bad puns at dinner tonight. Well, guys, I want to know. We've all thought it before. Who's the hottest cartoon character? I mean, I can jump out if no one has thought.
No, it's okay. I'm gonna go the controversial path first, just because I don't think anyone's gonna be I don't know if anybody's gonna admit it that they think this character is hot. So there's some obvious picks that jump out. I mean, I guess that works too. Is Jessica the rabbit, or not the rabbit? Jessica Rabbit. She clearly is a fantastically good-looking cartoon character. However, I'm going to say it is more than the looks and the way the person drew you that makes you the hottest cartoon character. You need the swag, the persona, and just the overall attitude. So I'm going to have to go with Lola Bunny is the hottest cartoon character out there, in my opinion.
I don't think that's as controversial as you would have thought.
She was
There's
on my
a-
list.
There's a
She
whole
wasn't at
furry
the top,
community
but she
out
was
there
there.
that would agree with you.
Yeah, you're right, but taking the
So I'm
furry
saying-
community
I'm saying-
aside,
Rick's going for the smaller demographics. Hopefully he'll get the he'll get the vote.
time for the swing vote.
Yeah.
I like it, Rick. Lola Bunny was my number 3, so I'm close to you. Yeah, I had 4 or 5 on this list. I was trying to pick which one I liked the most. Mine was, I've always been kind of a girl next door. Never was big into like the hot, super sexy supermodel look when the girl next door was easier to get, especially with us nerds. So
Speak for
as
yourself.
much as Daphne was attractive in Scooby-Doo, I'm gonna have to go with Velma. So I loved Velma. She was smart. You always wondered what was going on with, she was always like second to Daphne, but the smart girl next door, man, that's attractive to me. It was kind of between, her and Belle from Beauty and the Beast, but I'm gonna stick with Velma. That's my choice.
I'll go next.
I think I'd prefer Drew's cinnamon orange shot over that.
You don't know what that sweater's hiding.
Exactly. Short skirt.
I didn't realize we were doing both sexes, so I had one of each.
Oh, I do
Um,
too.
So I'm gonna go for my female, Asami Sato from The Legend of Korra: Last Airbender. She was Korra's girlfriend, and she is just an absolute smoke show. She's also an engineer. She's rich as hell, and she ends up dating Korra at the end of it. So, I mean, I don't think you can go wrong with that.
Wait, real quick. I watched most of The Last Airbender. Was Legend of Korra good?
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't think it's as good as the original, as the first one, but
Yeah.
it's up there for sure.
Good to know.
And then for my male, I went with Li Shang from Mulan. I mean, he's shirtless for basically most of the entire movie, and he's just got some classically well drawn lines for the pectorals.
Mhm.
So yeah, overall, I think he would be my number 1 for male pick.
Both those are
Solid.
great. And to take a little bit of what Rick said and a little bit of what Drew said, yes, this person has to be attractive, but she also has to have the swagger, just be able to carry herself, a little bit of back and forth motion. She also, being the daughter of a sultan, couldn't hurt. Jasmine is by far and away the hottest cartoon character. She's got the hips, she's got the fucking pet tiger, she's the daughter of a sultan. Like, blown away. And she's got the attitude, man. She's not taking shit from Jafar. She's not taking shit from Aladdin when he comes up as a prince. She
That's
doesn't.
sexy.
She knows she wants a real guy, and I want that. She's got the personality. She's got the look. She's got the money. She's probably a little nuts, and that's okay. I'll deal with it. So I'm gonna go Jasmine as my female pick, and then staying in the Disney realm, I gotta go Hercules. I'm all over here.
Nice.
You go Hercules. Yes, give me some Herc, man. Just big barrel-chested, punching dragon hydras in the face. Let's go, man. Just all man.
I like it. I like
all
it.
man.
You just want him to carry you like a baby.
I do. I really
just
do. Like he
swaddled up
did
in that, yeah.
Danny DeVito. That's all I want.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to be Danny
What was
DeVito.
that
as
character's
Hercules.
name? Al, Fred, something simple like that.
The
Al
farm
sounds
that,
right.
that Danny DeVito played.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's Al. I think
We'll
Al.
go with Al.
Just
I don't
gonna
know.
look it up.
Okay,
Before Ben goes, if
Phil.
just throw mine out there, Travis, I like your answer, but to throw
Phil
my
Cheese.
male character out there, I'm gonna have to go Archer. Is the sexiest male character.
Oh, cool.
Just
That's a
to-
good one.
Just to
That's a
round
good,
out
that's a
my
really good one.
my
Solid.
picks. But
Now
Ben,
that
go
you've
ahead,
actually
sorry.
started watching
No, you're
Archer,
good.
finally.
I've learned
Fun.
that
Lana!
my new favorite thing to do is to catch up on fads like 20 years after
Yep.
they're over.
Yeah.
So I read or listened to, for those that say this doesn't count, Harry Potter this year. And I don't know, when did that come out? Like 15 years ago. And now I'm just watching Archer. But I digress. Ben, who do you got?
No, my pick going back to Disney, like Travis, would be Flynn Rider from Tangled, the Rapunzel movie.
Nice.
Ooh, yeah.
You know, master thief, smooth charisma. Yeah, didn't have the muscles like Li Shang, but I'll go with that.
Are we gonna be able to settle this? We have 8 different answers. I know some that I could probably roll out off the top of my head, but
I mean, I know I'm not going to win, so I will back Jasmine.
Yeah, I'm okay with Jasmine.
hell yes.
I
I'm
would
thinking-
100% I'm okay with Jasmine.
I'm thinking Jasmine and Li
very high
Shang.
on my list.
I'm
I'll
thinking
take
Jasmine and Li Shang.
I'll take Jasmine. Is that
I'll
the guy
take
from
a 50-50
Mulan?
split.
Blonde.
Yeah, Li Shang, the guy from Mulan.
Let's get down to business.
I don't hate that. I have a hard time saying no to Hercules though.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
I like-
Hercules was kind of a goof.
I
like
I like a goof.
And
I don't.
Shang.
You picked Velma. Don't come after Hercules being a goof. You picked Velma.
Yeah, Velma was secretive, man. Like I
And a
like a little
goof.
mystery. It's sexy. Don't tell me
I think-
mystery's not sexy.
I think Velma
I
was.
will tell you, Velma is not sexy.
Velma was the worst one because everyone was high around her except her. I just assume
Velma's
and she was
niche like Drew's
completely-
Raven.
completely just like oblivious to what the other 4 were doing, and she was like,
Yeah.
"I'm going to solve this mystery." Ha ha ha.
He'd bring down the buzz.
Should take another look at Hercules over here. I mean, I feel like I have to veto him because he's a ginger.
Ooh,
That's true. That
Yeah.
that coiffed though. That
He's a
coiffed
man
on top of his head is pretty amazing.
He was a man child. Like Li Shang was
some
all
would say
man.
it's on point.
He was a man. He was
I
all
almost
man.
went Meg from Hercules because
Oh,
I think-
yeah.
I think she was.
Oh yeah, Megara.
I think she was wonderful as
amazing.
well.
Megara.
She's 100% your type, Rick.
Mhm.
Yeah. Teeny little, like skinny as a toothpick. Yeah.
Yep. But I thought Lola would be more fun.
Boys, do the ear flip.
Yes.
Yeah.
You get it.
I know. But that was like the one moment.
What? Yeah. I mean, right.
All right, so we got Jasmine and
I think we can leave the. We
We
probably
just
don't
go
have to
Jasmine.
pick. Yeah, we can just go Jasmine.
just go Jasmine wins.
We don't
I'm
have
okay
to-
with
yeah.
that. I'm okay with that.
We did a bracket, and
That's right.
The female won out.
Yeah.
Female,
Well
female
done.
side won out.
You know what, Ben? I'm gonna let you do this one. Take it away. That's my
Okay.
segue.
Okay. Well, we were just talking about fantasy characters. So why don't we talk a little more fantasy? Let's talk football. All right. So question was, when is it okay to say no in fantasy football? So the obvious thing for a lot of people is, trades. No is a big thing in trades. You say yes, you say no. Highly controversial. I kind of looked at this in 2 ways. I do play a lot of fantasy football. This year I only have 5 leagues going.
Only
Only,
I have
yeah.
6.
I can barely set my lineup for 1.
Yeah, well, you probably have a life. So 2 things when you say no. First thing is I'm going to address the trades thing. I'm a big believer that trades should only be vetoed by commissioners, because if you have a crappy commissioner, you shouldn't be in a league to begin with. But the thing is trades are supposed to help people, enjoy fantasy football more. And if people are vetoing it just because, they don't like somebody or they don't think the trade is fair, it's not for that person to decide. It's the people in the trade. The commissioner's there to veto if there's collusion, if somebody's trying to get a way better, player, and then, they split the money in the end or something like that. So it's okay to say no as a commissioner in a trade if you think there's a reason why, but I don't think people in the league should vote no. And then as far as fantasy football in general, no to divisions. Divisions are ridiculously dumb. It should be based on points, And you can be the 5th person in points in a playoff of 4 and still make the playoffs as the number 2 seed. It's ridiculous. So divisions are dumb. Everybody should be in one division. So you say no when you vote for divisions, and you say no, but only as the commissioner on trades for collusion. Those are my answers.
I'll jump in next. The ability to say no as a team playing in a league, if that rule doesn't benefit my team, I'm saying no. Like, pure, plain and simple. Like, I know if 2 other people are trading and I think it completely unbalances the person I'm about to play, I'm going to say no. Like, that's directly impacting my schedule. Sure, if I don't play either one of those teams later down the line and I'm saying no, I'm just being a dick. And that's kind of a part of fantasy football. But like, I should have the ability to be like, no, that's not. And that's just one person. There should be a league of 10, 12 people. And hopefully I would get overruled. That would be why there's a voting system for trades and things like that. So one person's opinion does not carry the weight on a trade or rules or anything like that, which is why I don't like letting a commissioner do it, because a lot of commissioners suck. Most commissioners suck. I've been very fortunate to have very good commissioners that actually know what they're doing. And like,
He's not talking about you, Ben. Don't say
Shut
up.
that's fair. I'm actually the commissioner, like 3 of them. So I'm
Right.
talking about myself.
He's not talking about you, Ben.
But usually like the commissioner is like just the de facto person that kind of wanted to put it together and then gets a little power hungry and starts making rule changes at the last minute and just hoards it all for themselves. So I think there needs to be a democratic process with trades. There needs to be a democratic process with rule changes, and your ability to vote no is a part of that. And if you just want to vote no to be a dick, that sucks, but that's why there's 9 other votes. So I'm saying go for it. Vote no however often you want, whenever you want. Even if there's nothing to vote on, just vote no.
Solid argument. I'm gonna throw some rebuttals, but I'm gonna let Drew and Rick go before I do that.
Travis, you had some interesting takes. Ben had some awful ones.
Thanks, Rick.
Yeah, no problem. So
Justin's not here to be our punching bag. So
but I just have to address, to say no to divisions is probably the most silly thing I have heard on this podcast.
Points and wins.
No, you don't. You don't go by points. You go by wins. If you want to take away divisions, fine. But if you let points factor into it, no.
Unless there's a tie on wins, then it goes on points.
well, that's
Yeah, but you didn't say that. You said I had the second most points scored. I should be the number 2 seed or whatever silliness you said.
yeah. I'm okay with no divisions, but like, yeah, the 4 teams with the best record go to the playoffs.
Obviously.
Voting no should only apply to silliness like that, which is where PPR comes in. PPR is the only time you should vote no in fantasy, because simply catching a ball, you should not get a point for that if it does nothing for your team. In terms of trades, you should never be allowed to vote no on a trade except when clear collusion is involved. So if both people think the trade benefits their team, you should let it go through. No matter how unfair it seems to anybody else at large, you should not be allowed to veto a trade except on the bias of
how do you
collusion.
govern that?
If you figure it out where you're like, you see a text message where you're like, hey, yo, but you don't.
Govern it.
You govern
Through
it with a
democratic
commissioner.
process where people can vote no.
Yeah, no, because the democratic part is where Travis is like, no, you're trading him a good quarterback and I'm playing him next week.
Right.
I don't want to mess up with that. No.
Right. You govern
So,
it with one
Drew,
commissioner.
to answer your point, there is no clear way to do it, which is why unless like you see making up random names, don't get mad at me because I'm not picking the correct names. I don't care. If you're saying that I am trading Drew like all of my starting players at the end of the playoff round and Drew trades me a kicker that's out, like, okay. But outside of that, if both teams truly think their teams are being made better through the trade, you should not be allowed to veto it.
100%. Rick, best point you made so far, that last sentence. If both teams think they're getting better in a trade, veto should not be allowed.
I don't know. I have a hard time. Even I know my, whether or not it benefits me thing is a selfish reason, and I understand that. But
that's kind of the fantasy version of unsportsmanlike conduct.
No.
Yes, 100%. Because you are literally doing something that makes your team better, but it's not like the proper way to do it. Like, let the teams play the way they should. And I don't like your reasoning behind it. I think it's unsportsmanlike conduct.
I don't get the unsportsmanlike conduct reference. Whatever you put behind it, I was like, okay, that's a valid statement. It also helps people from getting taken advantage of as well.
That's part of it.
I know that's part of it. I get it, but like sometimes 4 or 5 other people can be like, no, that's a really unfair trade. I don't care what this person thinks. That's a terribly lopsided trade. No, that can't go through. I don't care if that's collusion or not. That's just someone being maybe new to the game or being dumb or whatever.
That's when you get up in the team chat and you tell them, bro, this is a terrible idea. Why the fuck?
Let me
Right, but they can't take it back at that point because there's no way to veto or say no. So it's all right. It went through.
Let's say all I am missing is arbitrarily. I need a wide receiver.
Sure.
And Travis has a boatload of wide receivers for some reason, and I have, but I need one. And so for some stupid reason, I have a barn of running backs, and I drafted 3 quarterbacks for some silly reason. A stable, thank you. And so Travis demands all of my backup quarterbacks and my stable of running backs, but I need that wide receiver. So to me, it is worth it. Who are you to say that it is an unfair trade when I think that is all my team needs?
That's right, and it makes both teams better.
The reason why I think that's a bad example is because you're using volume as a purpose of value, whereas I'm talking like if
use however you want to use it. But my point is like if I the receiver in what is deemed a bad trade and getting what the only thing my team lacks, why does it matter? Whatever.
But I wouldn't have thought that was a bad trade
to.
Because you can't start more than one quarterback for most standard leagues, and you can't start more than. So
fine. That's what I mean. So adjust this makeup scenario to whatever would work for you. I need one thing and I'm getting what I want. And then I'm giving over value for it to the rest of the league. But to me, it is not. So adjust it however you want. If the rest of the league thinks it's unfair, but
you're
I
thinking
think
rationally. I'm talking about someone who is like, oh, I am new to fantasy football. This guy was dumb and took Aaron Rodgers, but I know Aaron Rodgers is a good quarterback, and I'm going to go try to get him because he's offering me Aaron Rodgers for Saquon Barkley right now, who is just killing it this year. We'll talk about this year's Saquon Barkley. Like, that's not a fair fantasy football trade. That's someone taking advantage of somebody else. And if I have the ability to be like, no, that's stupid.
Think it is, just because you think it's stupid, you shouldn't be allowed to vote no if both teams in the trade.
I absolutely should be able to vote
no, because Travis, to your argument right there, what if the person that's getting Aaron Rodgers is a 15-year fantasy veteran? What if he thinks that he knows something down the line, looks at the schedule, thinks that Rodgers is going to be the number 1 quarterback and wants that player, and it makes his team better. Maybe he was playing Dak and Dak got hurt, and now he's been rolling out like Davis Mills or something like that. And he's like, I need Rodgers. I've got a plethora of running backs. I can get Rodgers for Barkley, and Rodgers in a few weeks is going to be baller. And it's a guy that's been playing for years. It's not a guy being taken advantage of.
But we're splitting hairs at this point. I'm talking a full on just
podcast is about.
Yes. Literally splitting hair. We are a beauty podcast. I'm talking about a clear situation where there's collusion, which is 2 people working together. And then there's another situation where someone is actually taking advantage of somebody else and is literally because the person is dumb. I'm not talking about a 15-year veteran. I'm talking about Michael Friedman, who had never really played fantasy football before and just would be like, oh, this makes sense because these are like the 5 people I know and take advantage of them. So that's where I think we should be able to step in and say no.
Here's what I think we're missing, and here's the real question. I would like to say you should be able to vote on waiver wire pickups for the same reason. So if you figure out that just going from my screen, Travis would be 1, I would be 2, Drew would be 3, Ben would be 4. If I collude with Travis to not pick up someone off the waiver wire, since he goes before me, so I can pick him up, even though Travis needs them, we should be allowed to vote on waiver wire pickups. If the hope is to stop collusion in trades, we should go ahead and expand it. Vote all the way through.
Well,
vote on waiver wire pickups.
mean, Rick, your point is interesting because the 1, 2, 3, 4, the order of waiver wire pickups has been the common way to do it for years, but it's becoming less and less common. More and more leagues now are doing the whole, bid money to put money in for waiver wires for the entire season. Why can't I think of the name?
Oh, like into the actual pot?
No. So you're giving
money?
a stipend of, let's say, $100 for the entire season, and instead of it being a rolling list of getting people on waiver wires, you put in a bid. So let's say that a couple of weeks ago, Jeff Wilson, the running back for the 49ers, was a big pickup for a lot of people. I put in a bid of $50 out of my 100. Drew, you put in 51. You got them, and they're all blind bids. But that is the more common way of doing waiver wires now, moving into this new age of getting rid of this whole rotating thing. So, Rick, I'm kind of agreeing with you from like a different direction. I'm a fan of kind of what you're saying, which is
I agree. We should expand it to that, but using what Ben just talked about, system, instead of saying no, because it's essentially the same thing with a different mechanism.
Yeah, I don't love the no waivers thing. If
you do what
but
like
Rick's point was
it's
because
a different way to solve
trying
the
prevent
problem.
collusion in all parts, which I think we're all on that same level, right, Rick?
I mean,
I'm secretly texting Drew
I honestly would prefer that
with
collusion reigns supreme and you're not allowed to vote on trades at all. So I want it to be as close as real football as ever. Like, you can't stop a trade to my knowledge, maybe you can in the NFL. So if you want to,
you have evidence of tampering.
If you want to, but like, that's what I mean. Like, in terms of the sense that, like, I'm going to trade you all my good players so you can win. You know what I mean? Like, that happens. That is allowed.
Well, but there's like a salary.
Yeah,
cap,
I get it.
I
understand it's not a great. I understand it's not a 1-for-1. I'm just saying.
I have a question. I want your opinion on this, truly, because if you make a trade in the NFL, a player has to go to the new team and usually pass a physical, right?
Yep. Yeah.
So that's kind of like saying, well, you just traded me a player. He didn't pass his physical, so you traded me a crappy player. So is that kind of like same thing in fantasy football? Like, you're trading me good players, bad players, kind of like what you're saying. You trade me a crappy player, then it's not fair because they didn't pass their physical, or they didn't live up to what they should be.
No, because that's typically built in the clause, like pending a physical. So if they fail, like, they go back. I don't know what happens to them. They go back, or you don't take them.
Like, the difference between not passing a physical and not being targeted, or not doing as well in a game, is so subjective on the game side of things.
Right.
Like, there are so many reasons that they didn't play as well.
Yeah.
As opposed to the fact that, you're not breathing right, or you had a concussion 2 weeks ago, or any number of physical checkpoints that they're willing to. So there's so many reasons why,
which is
I would disagree with that.
But to compensate for that, if a player leaves in free agency after that, teams get a compensatory pick. There's things that essentially say, okay, yeah, you messed up this draft pick or whatever. Here's some protection to potentially offset that. There's checks and balances throughout the entire trade process. No, there's no like democratic, hey, we're going to vote no, and all the other teams and squash it. But you can't really do all that stuff in fantasy football. So the next best thing is some sort of democratic system where if one asshole, me, says no, and 9 other people say yes, that's fine. It just everyone else said yes, and that should be okay. And that's the way things should work, is
Fair.
just everyone agreeing on different things like
Not fair.
that. Ben's just mad because I veto everything Ben puts
Well,
forward.
technically you're third. I mean, really, Brandon and Andrew veto more.
Oh, I know.
things,
They
but-
are just no.
I think it's all right. So I'm going to round this out and then we can end this or can keep going. It's up to you guys. The NFL is overlooked by a commissioner and he has the final say on a lot of things. Obviously, there's different levels of decisions, but at the end of the day, if you're in a league with a shitty commissioner, get out of the damn league. If you're in a league with a great commissioner, let him make the league fair. You know, he puts time into it. He builds the league. He does everything he wants to do to make sure that everybody has a good time. Because at the end of the day, we're playing fantasy football. We're doing it for fun. And it's not fun when people are pissed off all the time. So as a commissioner, my number one thing, or any commissioner's number one thing, should be everyone's enjoying it. So when you're vetoing trades for dumb reasons, or not dumb reasons in your mind, but dumb reasons for other people, it makes it less fun. So the commissioner he's charged with making sure that everyone's enjoying it. So that's kind of my reasoning behind it.
Never gave my answer.
Shit.
Go for it.
I'd like to go with my favorite phrase of recent years. I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Yes.
Nice.
I'm just here. No, I actually, so I think, and you guys know that I, compared to you guys, have very little knowledge about all of this because I don't care as much. But if we were to kind of split the difference a little bit between both schools of thought, and I agree with Ben on get yourself a good commissioner, join a league that has a good commissioner. If the commissioner thinks that there's even the slightest bit of collusion happening, open it up to a vote then.
Yeah. Drew, I like the way you're going. So keep going.
The commissioner has ultimate authority over the league and everything that's going on. If somebody proposes a trade and they look at it and they're supposed to be in charge and they say this does not seem fair to either one or the other participants, then you open it up to a vote for the rest of the league and say, do you guys think this trade is fair? And then whatever the outcome of that is.
I like that, Drew. Speaking as a commissioner, when something goes down in a league that is controversial, always open it up to a chat at the very least to kind of get everybody's beat on it.
It's all about open, honest communication.
Makes the league more fun. I like it. Drew.
You know, I want to piss.
I vote Drew. I vote Drew on this.
Is there a vote to this?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, you all said no just now, so we're gonna go with no.
No. Vote no.
Vote no. Everyone votes no.
Wait,
what?
no on voting or always vote no? Because I feel like that's where we kind of ended
Just leave
up.
it. Leave it.
Both. All of the above. You know, this would actually make a pretty fun game to watch, just voting no.
Yes, it would.
No.
Keep going.
No.
Keep going.
No, there's nothing to go.
That was a
There's
good
no,
setup.
no, that's the point. There is no good setup.
I'm
Go
gonna
get
a
another drink. I'm gonna smell my cinnamon toast crunch candle.
The taste you can smell.
Speaking of leagues, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea is my favorite. No, guys, you are.
That was just confusing.
I know.
Is that a sport?
It should be Fathoms. You are the producer of ESPN 8 the OCHO, and you have been commissioned to come up with new sports for this channel to draw more people in, to get viewership up.
You were right the first time.
Viewership up. And we need to come up with 4-ish sports that we're going to air on ESPN the OCHO. This is not going to be one of those, like, I think this is going to work a lot better if we all come out with our pool of of sports, and then we just pick like the best 4 or 5 of our entire pool instead of like, oh, Rick has the best 4. And we're just trying to come up with the best lineup possible. And I think all of us are going to have 1 or 2 probably really good ones, and then a bunch of others really shitty ones. So that being said, I've got 4 that I came up with that I just came to my head space.
Tell me about your daddy.
My daddy. I don't have any daddies.
You must be daddy.
No, we're talking about a good second quarter. That's what we're talking about.
That's right. Strong growth.
Strong growth in the second quarter. I've got a strong growth in my second quarter. Probably should get that looked at.
Only if it lasts longer than 4 hours.
Say it, goddamn it, Travis.
Only if it lasts longer than 4 hours.
Competitive box folding.
Ooh.
I want to see
Okay.
people with the giant stacks of pizza boxes that are just, there's a commercial from like Domino's. This guy's just flipping through them at like 100 miles an hour. 1 box, 2 box, 3 box. I think he set a Guinness Book World Record. Like, I want to see that. I could watch that. That's very, very, very good feeling. Very fun to watch. Very soothing and relaxing to watch competitive box folding. I want to go international with this. I want to bring viewers from other countries. I want to host events in different countries. So I think we need to bring the Cooper's Hill cheese race all over the world. And there should be people rolling down hills and a bunch of different countries chasing after a giant wheel of cheese. Another really good one, just like I've been watching more and more of this, is death diving. Have you guys watched death diving?
Yes.
You know what death diving is?
Yes, it's hilarious.
Death diving. I freak out because I know that every time they get me, every time I think they're about to belly flop and then they go right into the cannonball at the last second. And I'm mesmerized because I know I don't have the mental fortitude to just be still as possible, Superman pose, and just at the last second, I couldn't do it. And kudos to those people who do it off of like 30-story cliffs or whatever. And then lastly, I hope this is on everyone's list. This needs to make it, because this is probably not on ESPN Ocho. It might be even too good for ESPN Ocho. I want to see tag. I want to see the one where they're jumping over the monkey bars, running around the little arena where they're actually trying to tag each other. I want to see that on ESPN Ocho. So those are my 4: box folding, Cooper's Hill cheese race, death diving, and tag. Drew, go.
I'll go. Okay, so I will take out my last one if we're just going to do 4.
I don't pick. We're just
Yeah,
putting
what do you
it
got?
together.
I don't know. So I took this a little bit of a different direction, Travis.
Okay.
I want to see sports that I'm going to watch. Me, personally, as is tradition for this podcast, I don't give a fuck about anybody else.
I
Right?
watch all those.
Some of these may not be what like the public would want to watch, but there's a few that are kind of a little more mainstream and are actually on like ESPN2, but they're considered alternative, I guess, and maybe not sports specifically, but competitions,
No,
that
they
kind
have
of
to be
thing.
Sports.
No, they don't.
Oh, you're right. Okay, you're right.
Under our definition,
you're right.
not necessarily
You're right.
sports. So number 4 came in as the World Series of Poker.
Okay.
I loved watching it in college. I still love watching it to this day. I think it's hilarious to see all the interactions. I love poker as just a game that we play. All of us have played poker together at one time or another. Number 3 came in as extreme ironing. I don't know if anybody's watched the videos on this, but it's basically people doing extreme sports like rock climbing or paddle boarding or different things, but they're also ironing on an iron board at the same time.
I would watch that.
Fucking
God, I would
hilarious.
watch that.
Rick, I literally watched probably like 2 hours of it today.
That's amazing.
Number 2, I don't want to get into it a whole lot about exactly the sport, but battle pong.
Yes.
Yep.
Drew.
Yes.
Us,
That one obviously won.
we have played for many, many years. It is a competitive version of ping pong that can be played by more than 2 people to earn points. There's some different rules, a lot of boxing out. But to this day, I would love to see it on screen and have the actual like arena built out for it. And then number 1 for me, is something that I've seen a lot of times, but it's not like it's very intermittent. Billiard / pool trick shot challenges. And there's a lot of different rules to it, but it's like they just come up with these insane versions of a single pool ball hit where they get like multiple balls in, they run it along sticks, it goes to a different table, they get multiple balls in different pockets just from the one hit. And I think it's absolutely fascinating that they can do it time and time again, over and over again. And it's just a really cool thing that you can watch. So those are my 4.
All right, so real quick, I have 2 points. First of all, one, Battle Pong. We're talking about our Battle Pong. For our listeners.
Yes.
If you try to search Battle Pong, you won't find what we're talking about. You'll find some sort of game developed by Scapegoat Software under Linux for the iSpot gaming console. It's not that. And it's also not Battle Pong floating battleship game, which is essentially beer pong in the water. It's not that either.
Sounds fun.
Those all sound fun. However, it's none of those. So
if I had to describe it to listeners to be able to understand it, if you know the game Crud pool table, it's kind of similar to that with like a ping pong table. Like it's a back and forth thing. And
It's
you earn
A little more cardio involved.
It's also
yes.
a similar idea of gotcha if you've played basketball, but just more try and translate that into ping pong. It's not Crud is much better example, but if you've never played Crud.
But some people may not know Crud either.
Right,
So
right.
I bet if you search Crud, you're not going to find Crud.
Crud you could probably find. You can definitely find Crud if you search it on Google.
That's fair. The second point was for your billiard trick shots. Are you talking in a tournament style, horse style competition where I make a trick shot and then someone else has to make a trick shot, or literally just videos of people making trick shots? Because I think that's a clear distinction.
There are competitions based off of it where like there's a clear winner.
Yes.
I don't know exactly how they're scored, or I don't remember right now how they're exactly scored. I think it's based on like difficulty of the shot, so it's more of a competition scored by judges.
Okay, so it's not just like I'm gonna go on YouTube and look up
No.
trick shots.
You can find
you
it.
want a competitive. Okay,
You can find it on ESPN. They
Yeah,
air it on
I've seen that
ESPN.
before. Like there's some sort of like matching, or like you do a trick shot, I have to do the same one. I don't know how it works
And
either.
it's
I know what you're
done by,
talking
like-
about though, Drew.
Like relative difficulty level of the actual shot itself, that kind of thing.
I've
but
wasted a
just
few hours.
The mechanics and math in your head that you have to do to be able to pull those off consistently is incredible to me.
yeah, okay, that makes more sense. When you pitched it, I thought it was just like a running thing of people doing trick shots. I was like, that doesn't seem great. But anyway, Rick, Ben, somebody go.
I'll hop in there. So I agree with Drew. Battle Pong also on my list. I would love to see that on the big screen and just live. Just good stuff. Some other things I saw. I'm going to include from the made up ESPN the OCHO lineup that came out right about when the COVID lockdown started. These are some things that I saw on TV and I wasted hours watching. So number one is juggling dodgeball, where you have somebody who is juggling and the whole rest of the team is throwing dodgeballs, trying to disrupt the juggler. And if you disrupt the juggler, you win that round. And you can, so juggling dodgeball, hilarious. Another one is a competitive juggling battle or combat juggling, where Drew, you and I are juggling in the same room, and then we try and knock the other person's juggle or like batons out of their hands whilst maintaining your juggle. Also entertaining to watch. And then number 4 for me, if you've ever seen Home Games on Netflix, the Calcio Storico, I think is how you pronounce it. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong, but Home Games, where you're in Florence, I'm sorry. And it's basically martial arts and dodgeball and rugby all at the same time. And it's looks amazing.
What is that called?
So I'm going to, hold on, let me pronounce it on my phone again. Calcio Storico. If you go to Home Games on Netflix, it's the first episode. It's basically the background is like Florence was besieged and they made up this game to show how badass they were. And it's a mixture of rugby and karate and frosse, and it's just fantastic. So it's fantastic. I would like to watch that real time. Those are my 4.
So I'm gonna jump in. So I had 7, but as we are talking, I've narrowed it down to 4. I also had Battle Pong, so I wonder if that's gonna make the list.
Yes, it is. I'm so glad that everybody was in the same place on that.
But it's okay. I had 7. So Battle Pong was my number 2. I actually had a lot of races on my list, and so the first one was I was thinking, like the whole, race of the bull, or I don't know what it's called.
Running with the bulls.
Thank you. Yes. But I was thinking, like, how cool would it be if you like raced hippos or raced rhinos? And I was thinking that's not really logical. So I went with ostrich racing. I would totally watch
more
ostrich
logical.
racing.
Yes,
I know it's a real thing. Yeah, it
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Right. Yeah, back alleys, right? So totally would watch ostrich racing. The second one for me was thinking Tour de France, but with unicycles. So I was thinking like doing like I want to watch a sport.
I love that. I watched that.
Weeks.
I would 100% watch that.
But we're gonna do it USA, so it's gonna be called the USA Uni Journey, and
Yes,
that's what we've got. Another one.
Can you imagine the follow car pit stops changing up the cycle?
The crashes are the best part.
Oh my god.
So we're creating that.
well done, Ben.
I'm going to be patenting that tomorrow. So the next one was thinking like soapbox derby races. Like I love watching the Red Bull races. Those are so much fun.
Yeah,
But I was thinking like downhill mattress races. So the fast mattress dash is my kind of like, I'd love to watch people mattress racing. I know that's more of like a college thing these days, but it could be turned to a sport. And then my last one was urban golf. So I'm a big golfer. I love golf, but I love this idea of creating 18 holes around a city and turning that into a sport. I thought that'd be a lot of fun. So those are my 4.
I would second urban golf if we made it into urban disc golf, which we also play.
Oh, that's a good one.
Played.
I'd be okay.
Let's be real.
I would watch urban golf. I think.
Yeah. Like
I
you
would
have to
watch
jump
that.
up. Yeah, that'd be fun.
All right, so we have like a bank of 20. I had said we should narrow it down to 4. I think we might need to narrow it down to like 8 because there's some really good.
I can be down with
that.
that. I fully think that Battle Pong needs to be number 1.
Yeah, it's on there.
Of course.
Yeah, Battle Pong's on the list. I will also vote whatever the unicycle one was. Throw that on there because I would watch that. And I'd even watch urban golf. So I'm taking 2 of Ben.
Real quick, just for everyone listening and our own edification, here's the full list. Starting with Drew's and then mine. Got poker, extreme ironing, battle pong, billiard trick shots. We've got juggling, dodgeball, combat juggling, calico storyco, cheese wheel racing, box folding, death diving, tag, and then Ben's was ostrich racing, the unicycle, mattress racing, and urban golf.
I like box folding, Travis. I actually think that would be a lot of fun to watch.
So
I'd like to see the strategy involved in that.
I don't know if you got how many of you guys have actually folded like a large amount of pizza boxes? Drew has.
So I worked at Papa John's for almost 2 years.
Did you get the cardboard cuts?
Oh yeah, absolutely. But we did have races where you get basically this plastic wrapped bunch of, it was about 20 boxes per, and you would race to see who could fold the entire thing the fastest. So technically is a sport in, I'm assuming, most fast food pizza places. And it is fun, but yes, you do get cuts in between your fingers and the webbing.
Dude, that was the worst
places.
When you got the cardboard cuts right between the index and the thumb, the webbing.
So bad.
Oh my god, it was miserable.
That would be cool. Like once for me, I don't know if I could vote that in. Like I'd turn into it once. I don't know if I'd watch that extended.
That's fair.
Because to me, that's
I have to throw
not to like throw shade. It's similar to like a hot dog eating contest kind of thing to me. Like it'd be cool to see like
which I watch it once a year.
Time. Yeah.
But I wouldn't watch it religiously as a sport.
It's a good point, right?
Or a competition.
Right. If this is a once a year thing, sure. But if we're, if this is more than that, I don't know if I'm tuning in.
No, this is supposed to be like a big draw, every week kind of lineup. So I agree with that. I think box folding can be out. I'm okay with that.
What have we got on the list so far? We've got Battle Pong,
The unicycle.
And the unicycle.
unicycle race. I would second urban golf. I guess third at this point.
I'm okay with urban golf. That's fine.
I also really like extreme ironing. I would.
Rick, you need to watch. You need to watch it. It's fucking.
Is that the same as? Is that the same
think-
as the box folding? I'm okay with it if it is.
Well, they change they change areas. So like,
Yeah,
one
it's a bunch of
time
different
it's in
things.
the Arctic, and then the next it's on top of a mountain, and like it's
Like
all
you have
different.
to rock climb on top of a mountain and then iron, or you have to be like
Oh, so it's like a
rafting-
race. Is it a
rafting
race
down the
to
river.
iron?
no, and the rules like you have to iron different. Like you're actually ironing, so you're trying to get the most well ironed piece of fabric you can while you're doing this extreme sport.
I know a lot of these are gimmicky. This seems the most gimmicky. This seems like
There's a dude.
ironing could be just
I just looked it up. There's a dude skiing with an ironing board, and that makes
I would.
It
just-
really
I think you
is
could replace
hilarious.
ironing with anything else because it's one sport with ironing, and if you just put one sport with juggling, one sport
yeah,
with
that's fair.
sewing, it's like
Yeah, but ironing's
It's the
so
flavor of-
run of
You know
the
what?
mill. But it
I'm
takes
gonna
that's what I'm saying.
concentration.
You could
ironing's
pick any of
hard,
those
man.
run of the mill tasks.
I
Tell
wouldn't-
me ironing is not difficult.
I wouldn't
not
tune
hard.
in
It's
weekly
not hard.
for extreme ironing. I'm gonna do extreme ironing the same with box folding. I would probably
That's
tune
fair.
in once to see what it was, and then
Yeah.
like this dude is ironing underwater, and there's a dude parachuting. Like I would tune in to see what those are, but then after that, I've probably seen it.
Can I vote for one of my own? Because I voted for two. That
Yeah,
were
go
mine.
for it, man.
I want to vote for
Throw it up.
ostrich racing. Like
No,
I really want to watch that.
Mm.
Originally, I had rhino racing, and I felt like that was a little like probably not going to ever happen. But I think it would be fun to watch people.
I mean,
sit
ostrich
on
racing is an actual.
It's a real thing.
I
real
know,
thing.
and it belongs on ESPN the OCHO because they probably can't legally put it on actual ESPN. so-
but again, I wouldn't watch that weekly.
Yeah, it's all for me. It's all about things that I'm gonna watch to follow, like
Right.
actually follow the sport or
Right.
competition, whatever it is.
Which is why we need tag.
but tag's already a
We
thing.
need tag.
Like they show snippets of tag on actual ESPN sometimes.
I'm okay with it being a thing and adding it. I've
Yeah.
watched tag more than once already, so I'm okay with adding
tag's
tag.
fun to watch.
I'm okay with tag.
Yeah, it needs to be in the Ocho.
Yeah,
It needs to be a regular
I'll go for tag.
seasonal-
I'll go for tag. That gets us.
Okay.
To 4.
But I mean, we can keep going. We can keep going. We don't have to stop at 4. Do you
I've
think
got
as
more
much as I-
too. Like I have probably 5 others that I haven't mentioned.
We
that I
already
would
have a
love to
bank of
see.
20. We're good.
I know, but they're so fun.
I don't
Too
like
late.
I don't like mattress racing. I'm not into.
I think that's in the same vein as the cheese wheel and everything else. It's just like
Yeah.
once a year.
I agree.
Okay.
I'm good with that.
I love poker. I don't think it should be on the Ocho.
Yeah,
Just unless it was some like extreme form of poker.
I
somehow.
agree.
I liked combat juggling. I didn't like
Dodgeball
juggling
juggling?
dodgeball.
That's fine with me.
Yeah, I could do combat. I watched that multiple times.
I'm good with either of
And
those.
you could do a whole bracket system. It could be great.
I'm good with either of those or none of those. I got drunk off Denzel's and watched those for hours, but I'm okay. If we
Combat
don't-
juggling, I'm down with.
All right, cool.
Combat juggling. Okay. And the only ones we haven't talked about are death diving. And I think that's it. I think death diving is the only one we haven't mentioned.
I don't think I could really enjoy that multiple times. I don't know.
Yeah. Same.
Again, it's like a hey, that was
Okay.
fun to watch. Don't really want to watch it again.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, we got 5. We've got battle pong, we've got unicycle, Tour de France, we've got urban golf, tag, and combat juggling is going to be our lineup for
Solid.
ESPN. That is a solid.
Okay with
I
that.
would watch
Yeah.
we'll call it every Wednesday night. That would be our night because
I bet on that.
Thursday, that's the only night that's not taken by the normal channels.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I probably,
That's
depending on the baseball
sh-
event, I probably watch that every baseball.
Yeah. absolutely, or at least it'd be on the recent channel button, and it would just go back and forth.
That's right.
Guys, I think we're getting kicked out. It's time for last call. Guys, I always mention Twitter at the end of the podcast, but today I'm going to mention Twitter in the middle of the podcast. What? I threw out a tweet randomly
3/4
because I control our Twitter account. That's what I do. I just said, all right, Twitter followers, are you team waffles or team pancakes? This was actually a last call topic we had. I think it was our first last call topic we ever had. I don't remember what we said, but just for our listeners out there, and I think we'll all agree on this, it was basically a 2-1 in favor of waffles. Waffles, on our number of responses, was twice as many from pancakes, and I think it's because, like the great Mitch Hedberg said, is that waffles are basically just pancakes, but with like super awesome containers to hold the syrup, so it doesn't flow out everywhere. So they have a lot more structural value than pancakes do. So I think I just thank you for all of our Twitter followers who voted or didn't vote or at least commented. I appreciate you for doing that. But I also don't care if you didn't vote. So there's that too. Vote, don't vote. I don't care. Guys, last call. First up, we're going to do Rick, Ben, and Drew because that's the order I see you guys in on my screen. I'm going to do R for Rick, B for Ben, and D for Drew. And here we go. Would you rather have all of your clothes fit perfectly or have the most comfortable pillow, blankets, and sheets in existence?
Give me the clothes fitting perfectly.
Ben.
Yeah, I'm gonna go close to alcohol knocks me out either way. So
Drew.
Comfortable betting all the way.
Fair enough. Would you rather have one real get out of jail free card or a key that opens any door?
Key that opens any door.
absolutely the key.
Yeah, the key. No question.
Yeah, I figured. Would you rather eat savory cookies or sweet chips?
Give me the chips.
Yeah, sweet chips.
Sweet chips.
Sweet for the chips. This one I actually found on Twitter as well. Every morning you wake up, you need to brush your teeth. Some of us use Listerine. Would you rather have a KFC fried chicken flavored Listerine or a Jack Daniels flavored Listerine?
KFC.
Jack.
KFC.
What was wrong with you guys?
Jack Daniels is disgusting, Ben.
So is KFC.
All right, this one might get controversial. I don't know. Which one's better? The original, more country version of Taylor Swift or the more new poppy version of Taylor Swift?
Give me Poppy.
Oh, that's so hard. Pun intended. Yeah. I'm gonna go with Poppy.
Quick, make it quick.
Poppy.
Poppy it is.
That's a hard choice.
That might need to be a topic in the future.
Yeah. Would you rather have sand in your private parts or would you rather be covered in mosquito bites?
What's the first part?
Would you rather have sand? You just went to the beach and you have sand all up in your junk. Sand. Sand. Sandy.
I would prefer sand in the private
Like
parts.
in the holes?
To where it's mildly uncomfortable.
Give me
Like
sand.
not burning and like debilitating, but like the equivalent of a mosquito bite in your crotch area with sand.
I'll go with mosquitoes.
I don't like this question.
Yeah, you should. That's not a good answer.
No, I'm gonna go mosquitoes.
Fair. That's fair. Would you rather have the ability to never get drunk or the exact opposite in that one drink gets you blackout?
Give me the blackout.
This is harder than the last one. I guess never get drunk.
I'm gonna go blackout.
I like it. I don't know if we actually have done this one or not. I may have to go back and listen to it. But would you rather throw up every time you get horny, or would you rather poop every time you get embarrassed?
Poop every time I get embarrassed.
Yeah, I'll go with poop.
Yeah, poop for sure.
Yep, fair enough. Would you rather only eat broccoli for the rest of your life,
No.
or the only show you could watch for the rest of your life is Keeping Up with the Kardashians?
Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Yeah, 100% Kardashians.
The only show ever for the
only
rest of
show
your
ever.
life.
He
Find
said
something
show.
else to
He didn't
do.
say movie. He
No.
didn't say anything
You can go to the
else.
movie. Like the
That's
only thing
true.
you could put on your television is Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
We'll play games while we eat pizza and ribs, man.
You can watch sports on your computer. It's fine.
Yeah, I'll go Kardashians.
And it's broccoli for the rest of your life? No to the rest of your sentence. I don't care what the
I
other-
like broccoli. That's the only reason. But
But
yeah,
only
there's a lot of
broccoli?
things I would miss.
Cut
I
off
know.
5 fingers or only eat
about it, we'll talk
broccoli.
about it,
Cut
we'll
off
talk
the
about it
fingers.
Last one. Would you rather the ability to only communicate through speaking emojis or not talk at all? Rick said emoji, but I can't hear him.
Emojis, yes.
Yeah, I'm going to go with emojis. I want to be able to communicate.
Yeah, I guess
I mean, in theory, you could do sign language, but yeah.
could get, but that's a form of communication. So
I just said you can't talk at all. I didn't
We-
say you can't communicate at all.
We had a competition at work, and it was
Hold on, wait. Let Drew answer.
I'll go emojis.
Okay, Rick, go ahead.
we had a competition at work, and the sentence was you had to say, "I went to have sex with Donald Trump," and you could only do it with emojis. And we all sent it to somebody to see how close it was. Best
That's
30 seconds of my life.
That sounds hilarious and fun.
all right. I'm not going to go through all of these, obviously, but everyone was aligned with having the key. Everyone was aligned with having the sweet chips. And everyone was aligned with pooping every time you get embarrassed. Oh, and obviously the emojis and the Kardashians. So a lot of sweeps there, but to pick out the ones that there was at least one discrepancy, Drew, pillows, blankets, and sheets being super comfortable over perfectly fit clothing.
I tend to not wear clothing when I'm not in public, and I love sleeping more than almost anything in the entire world. So I really
You mentioned that on this podcast
I have
at least once,
multiple
so, yeah.
multiple times.
Yeah.
So I want to be my absolute most comfortable when I'm in bed.
That's fair. That's fair. I
And if
think
my
that's
clothes-
one of those like
My clothes don't fit absolutely perfectly. It doesn't mean they don't fit well. Just means they don't fit perfectly.
the only reason why I would go clothing is because I'm such a weird body type that it would take a lot of just like guesswork out of it, and I just put on any clothes and like, oh, it fits great. I don't have to think about it forever again. And my bed is relatively comfortable, so it's fine. I sleep
your-
fine. So
Your 12 thread count sheets.
yeah, we have not
100.
actually released
I know.
a thread count episode, by the way, Drew. We have
I
to come
know.
back to
No,
that.
that's a
at
good
some point.
idea. Yeah, see, the thing is clothing and bedding, one of them I'm usually sober and one of them I'm usually drunk. When I'm wearing clothing, I'm usually sober. When I'm sleeping, it's usually because I got drunk to fall asleep. So which one am I going to remember more? It's going to be the clothes. I think clothes, it's more important for me to be comfortable when I'm thinking straight.
I really, that was initially a tough one for me because I was tempted to go the bedding because there's nothing beats a comfortable sheets, but I also know just how much it bugs me if I notice something is wrong with what I'm wearing throughout the day. Like I can't let it go.
Yep.
That I need that to be fine.
I'm just gonna say that clothes, the way Travis ordered it, clothes fitting perfectly does not equate to comfortable.
Correct.
Looking good does not always mean comfortable.
It's true.
But in the
they're
world,
but they're also not mutually exclusive. So you can wear like oversized clothes or clothes that are comfortable that also look okay. Whereas if I'm falling asleep and I'm not in my best place, that is gonna ruin the rest of my.
But I
what I'm
also
saying.
think
What
that
did you say specifically, Travis, with the betting again?
I said
my betting
have the
doesn't need to
most
be-
comfortable pillow, blanket, and sheets in existence.
Yeah, but my
So it's
betting
the
doesn't
most-
need to be perfect, and I can still achieve
Yeah.
the level of comfort I need for a good night's
Right.
sleep.
Exactly. Thank you, Rick.
And I think clothing is the fit specifically for clothing is subjective
Yes.
to the person wearing the clothing. So if you want to, if you think that the perfect fit for you is baggy clothing,
Right.
then that's going to be your fit. If you think it's tighter, if you think it's whatever you deem to be the perfect fit, it would be that fit, whatever you depended on, not what society, what other people think is the perfect fit, but what you think is the perfect fit
There's-
for you.
I think there's a lot of subjectiveness on both sides of this.
Yeah, because there's a specific button down shirt that I wear that like the button above the belt that sticks out poofs out a little bit, and it
Mhm. I know
annoys
that
the
shirt.
hell out of me
I have the
all
same one.
day long. And if I had where that shirt didn't do that, like I could cure cancer
And-
tomorrow before noon if I wasn't worried about that.
But you're also groggy and kind of chafed by
No.
No.
Because I
by
can
the
still-
sandpaper of
No.
bed that you were sleeping in.
No. They
No,
just said the most comfortable. So I can still have a comfortable sleep, not having the perfect sheets in the world.
Right.
That's why I'm saying it's an issue of like ultimates. Like I can have a shirt that
Yeah.
there's
Of course.
maybe
Of course.
just a little bit of wiggle room on one side or the other, and
Yeah, no, I agree.
I just don't give a fuck.
But I can't handle that. If I am worried about my undershirt sticking out underneath my polo all day long, I'll lose my mind. I can handle a scratchy bed.
Oh, having to roll up
No.
the
Yeah.
undershirt sleeves to fit
Yes.
under the
Scratchy
polo
bed.
sleeves.
Oh my god, are you kidding?
You don't
me?
no, it doesn't have to be a scratchy bed.
No, yeah, I said
That's the
scratchy.
thing. I know,
yeah.
but like
But that's what I mean. Like,
It's-
if I would sleep in a bed of somebody ate chips and popcorn, I could figure it out. But if I'm worried about the poof or my shirt not fitting correctly all day, it's a wrap.
let's move on to the next
Wait till you get married, then
Uh,
it doesn't matter as much.
one. That's also true. Ben, you want Jack Daniels flavored Listerine? Explain yourself.
Yeah, I have issues
please.
with your other
I hate
comments.
you.
Like,
Yeah,
who the-
Ben, for somebody who works in the alcohol industry, I thought you would turn your nose up
Works.
at Jack Daniels.
no, I want my breath to smell like booze 24 hours a day. Come on. Like, I don't
You
want
wouldn't want better?
I don't
whiskey?
want Listerine smelling like fried chicken, especially cheap.
He
fried
did
chicken.
not
I'm sorry.
say fried chicken. It could be
I
gravy.
said-
It could
Bull.
be
I
mashed
did say
potatoes.
Could be
I-
mashed.
fried
Could be
chicken.
mac
Look,
and cheese.
that's
I'm
right.
sorry. Like
Uh,
I grew
I
up.
actually said KFC fried chicken.
Oh, did you?
I
All
grew
right.
up.
Yes.
I grew up with the occasional eating of KFC fried chicken, and I wouldn't touch it now with a 20-foot pole because there's so many better options out there. It's gross. It's nasty. Like,
Yeah,
look,
no, of
I
course
love
there's
the
better
fact
options.
that KFC joined in with Taco Bell. That probably saved their freaking franchise. Taco Bell is the way to get. Like, you're not going to KFC and Taco Bell and spending more money on KFC food. I mean,
and
let's be
it's
honest.
still better than Jack Daniels.
Sorry,
I agree with everything you said, and it's still better than Jack Daniels.
I disagree. I look, Jack Daniels is not my favorite whiskey. Trust me. It's definitely low on the totem pole, but I would take it 100 times out of 100 over
It is
crappy
so
fried
gross.
chicken and grease. I would.
Yeah, but you also eat baked chips, so like obviously you're gonna hate on the grease, you vegan. So
Did you learn that on vacation with him?
no, I've been to his house like more than once. So
Oh, that's
I eat-
like,
I eat
you can't
pumpkin
have
chips.
not baked chips at Ben's house. It's awful.
Hey, vacation was fun. Don't hate.
I wasn't hating on the vacation. I was
No, I'm
hating on
talking
your
on
chips
Travis,
at your
not
house.
you. Not you, Travis.
Oh no, I wasn't hanging on I'm a little jealous of the vacation. All right, last one that was really the only other one that was a disagreement was there's two, but just for the sake of time, never get drunk or one drink gets you blackout.
Ah, yes.
So you both said blackout. I said never get drunk. Me being the probably the most alcoholic person here. I would be severely disappointed if I had one drink and completely got blacked out right away because I wouldn't be able to enjoy it.
You can't
I would rather
enjoy it
not.
either way is the
Well,
problem.
I know that, but I would rather not go through that suffering and still be conscious
That's
to
fair.
enjoy other things.
That's fair.
Like if I do one drink, not enjoy it, and get blacked out, my
But
day's done.
That's fair. When you put it that way, that's a fair way to look at it.
At least I feel like with the blackout, I have the option. So I can go your way and never drink.
Right.
Ever. But on the rare occasion where I can put myself in a safe space
And achieve something.
and
Right.
just have a good time where nothing bad is going to happen, I can indulge if I would like to.
Yes. I
I'm
agree
giving
with
myself I'm giving myself options and not
It's
limiting
fair.
myself to one specific outcome.
With that being said, guys, we are being kicked out of this bar. Next week, we will all be together, most likely. And we're going to do a live in-person episode for the second time ever, which is going to be incredible. I'm very much looking forward to it. If you guys are our Twitter, our followers, our listeners, we are on the Twitter at @the_barbanter. We're on Instagram at @the_barbanter, and we're on YouTube at, I believe it's just Bar Banter Podcast. It's probably a lot of the same content across the three platforms, but at least on the YouTube and Instagram, I try to put a lot more of the shorts up there, and you can see them. There's a whole bank of them, and you can see all of the little fun clips that we have. So please go to all of our different social media streams and follow us, like us, comment, notify, all the other stuff, or don't care. And just remember, this is our podcast, and you're just along for the ride.